Hello, everyone. Welcome to The Storyist. Today, I will be sharing with you a story about a waitress who fed a homeless person. She didn't know who he really was, and when she found out, she couldn't imagine what happened next. Stay until the end of the video to see who the homeless man was and what happened to the kind-hearted waitress. Princess is a working student. She was born to a very poor family who lives in the outskirts of the city. She grew up on a farm and was very far from the city girl she is now. She loved working on the farm with her family, but it has always been her lifelong dream to study at college in the city and work there. Through a scholarship, she manages to study at a prestigious university in the city. But despite the free tuition fee, there are still a lot of expenses Princess has to pay for, such as rent, her everyday allowance, and other requirements in her school. All of her classmates have laptops and computers that make their homework easier to complete, while she spends dollars in pennies for computer shops. One of her dreams is to save enough for a brand new laptop that costs $800. It is surely out of her budget, but she still wants to buy one. So she works hard during all her free time just to have enough for her daily expenses and save enough for her dream laptop someday. After months and months of saving, Princess opens her saving box and counts the saved money. So far, she has saved $300. Still too little for her dream laptop. I have to work harder, she thinks to herself. She already has a regular part-time job as a cleaner in their private school at this time. But if she really wants to save more, she needs to earn more and do more jobs. She is worried about her health, but she is more worried about her education. If she doesn't get enough savings, computer shops will just rip her pocket of pennies here and there. The next morning, Princess hops from one restaurant to another, hoping that one or two of them are hiring. She spends the whole day submitting resumes to almost every restaurant she sees. Before the day ends, when she is almost about to give up, one of the long line of restaurants she applied for calls her and tells her she is accepted. She jumps with joy and she starts right away as a waitress in a very fancy restaurant. Now Princess is working 2 shifts during all her free time. Sometimes she will study for her exams the next day or do her homework during her shift breaks. Princess is working really hard for her studies and at the same time working harder to earn and save enough. Her colleagues at her new work aren't too friendly with her. Since she is a scholar studying at a prestigious school, most of them will ridicule her for trying to reach something that she clearly cannot afford and for trying to fit in a place where she obviously doesn't belong to. Princess gets upset every time her colleagues tell her this, but her dreams make her shrug all the bad statements they throw at her. On her 3rd day as a waitress in the restaurant, she is very tired and hungry from the recent exam she took just hours before. She hasn't eaten anything yet since breakfast, and now her stomach is grumbling loudly. When she enters the restaurant she is working for, she immediately smells the scent of seafood and truffle and everything in the menu, and it makes her mouth water. She is very hungry, and she only has a few dollars inside her pocket. She is thinking of buying herself a full meal first, before starting her shift. After all, she thinks it's just right to reward herself with a good meal after a long day of exams. After deciding to buy a meal, she sits on one of the tables and politely asks one of her colleagues to give her the menu. As she is about to order, a filthy old man walks inside the restaurant. He is dressed in dirty clothes, his beard is long but covered with mud, and his body is soaked in dry grease. Everyone is quick to grimace as the old man enters the fancy restaurant. and some even promptly cover their noses. The old man seems lost because he keeps looking around the area, and he looks like he doesn't understand what is happening. Some of the guests are starting to laugh at the man, and when Princess looks at her colleagues, none of them are trying to help. Instead, they laugh at the man together with the guests. This breaks Princess's heart, so she immediately walks toward the man. The man is surprised at first, but he doesn't hesitate when Princess gently holds his hand and ushers him to her table. The man still looks oblivious of his surroundings. Princess then asks the man what he needs, and the man answers, hungry. He stutters as he speaks, and this breaks Princess's heart even more. She immediately signals for her colleague to bring them the menu. The other waiter is hesitant at first, but follows soon after. He brings the menu to the table, and Princess lets the man choose a meal. The man chooses a full meal, the one Princess was about to order before he came. Princess gladly orders the meal for the man and just sits in front of him as he eats. "Hey, Princess, I thought you were hungry," teases one of her colleagues. "I'll just have some water," she replies politely. The waiter mocks her for giving up her chance of a good meal just for a worthless homeless man. Princess tries to ignore what she hears and just tries to communicate with the homeless man. But the old man doesn't seem to understand anything she is saying. The mocks, laughs, and criticism from her colleagues start to get louder and louder until she can't take it anymore. She stands up and says to all of them, "What's funny about helping someone in need? If I have to drink water just so this poor man can eat today, then so be it!" Princess says this a little too loud, and the restaurant owner, whom they did not know was standing inside the kitchen with the chef, overhears the commotion. Curious, the owner walks to the situation, and he sees Princess protecting the helpless man from her peers. When one of the waiters sees him, he immediately tells what Princess did while laughing at her. But then the owner looks closely at the poor old man and recognizes him. "Dad?" the restaurant owner asks the poor man. The homeless man raises his head and his eyes glimmer as he sees his son. The two hug tightly in a heartwarming reunion. Turns out the restaurant owner lost his father a few weeks ago. His father has Alzheimer's disease, and he wandered the city, not knowing where to go. He got lost in the maze of buildings and slept on the streets, turning his soft suit into greasy clothes. The restaurant owner thanks Princess for her good deed and offers her a raise in her salary and $1,000 in cash. She hesitates to accept this at first, but the man promises to help her in whatever she needs in her studies. The other waiters can't do anything but watch in awe and regret treating the man like they did. "Thank you for treating him like he isn't different. I owe you a lot for bringing him back," the restaurant owner says. Soon, Princess continues her studies with a brand new laptop, a gift she received from the restaurant's owner. And she still works part-time at the restaurant, but this time with a higher position. Princess's story has turned into a timeless lesson to all her colleagues to never judge a book by its cover and to be kind to anyone, with or without return. That's all for today. We hope you enjoyed that video, and we'll see you in the next.